There comes a moment in every man's life when the noise finally stops. Not because the world grew quiet, but because you stopped begging it to listen. You wake up one morning and realize you've been living a script someone else wrote. Your opinions were borrowed, your ambitions were inherited, your fears were handed to you like a uniform, and you wore them without question. That is the tragedy of most men. They die at 25 and get buried at 75. But you are here because something inside you refuses to rot. Something inside you is clawing at the walls of the cage, demanding to be seen. Listen carefully. The world does not reward the loud. It rewards the aware. The man who sees through the illusion becomes the architect of it. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He knew that most men live as pawns because they never bothered to ask who was moving them. They chase approval. They chase belonging. They chase a version of themselves designed by people who never loved them. And then they wonder why they feel empty in rooms full of noise. The awakening is brutal. It strips you. It shows you the friends who were only mirrors, the love that was only convenience, the dreams that were only programming. But this pain, this sharp, unbearable clarity, is the price of becoming real. You cannot find yourself while you are still performing. You cannot build power while you are still pleading. So today, right now, you begin the descent inward. You stop running from silence. You stop fearing your own reflection, because the man who meets himself without flinching becomes untouchable. And the moment you see who you truly are beneath the noise, life, your real life, finally begins. The death of the old you. Before you can become who you are meant to be, you must bury who they made you. This is not poetry. This is war. The old you was a construction project, built brick by people who needed you small. Your parents shaped you to be convenient. Your teachers shaped you to be obedient. Your friends shaped you to be agreeable. Society shaped you to be predictable. And you, without knowing it, became a monument to everyone else's comfort. Look in the mirror and ask a dangerous question. How much of this man is actually mine? The answer will disturb you. Good. Disturbance is the first sign of awakening. Machiavelli wrote that men must be either pampered or crushed, because a man slightly wounded will return for revenge. The old you is that wounded man inside your chest, keeping you chained to apologies you never owed, to dreams you never chose, to fears that were never yours. You must not wound him. You must kill him. Cleanly, completely, without ceremony. Kill the version of you that flinches when disrespected. Kill the version that begs for love from people who tolerate you. Kill the version that shrinks to make weaker men feel tall. Kill the people pleaser. Kill the apologizer. Kill the over-explainer. Kill the man who confuses kindness with submission. This death is not cruelty. It is surgery. You are removing a tumor that was slowly eating your power. And when it is done, when the old you lies still and silent, you will feel something unfamiliar rising in your chest. Stillness, clarity, a cold, quiet certainty that no one can touch you anymore. Because a man who has already killed his weakest self has nothing left to fear. And that, precisely that, is where real power begins. The silence that builds kings. Watch the powerful. Truly watch them. They do not argue. They do not explain. They do not chase microphones or beg to be understood. They move through rooms like shadows with purpose. And when they speak, the world leans forward. This is not charisma. This is strategy. Silence is the oldest weapon in the arsenal of power, and most men have never learned to wield it. They mistake noise for strength. They mistake reaction for presence. They spill their plans at dinner tables, reveal their wounds to strangers, and then wonder why their enemies always seem one step ahead. Machiavelli knew that a man who reveals everything owns nothing. Your thoughts are currency. Your plans are weapons. Your pain is ammunition. Stop handing them out for free. From this day forward, become economical with your words. Speak only when it serves you. Listen 3 times more than you speak. Let others fill the air with their insecurities, their gossip, their rehearsed opinions, and watch closely. Every word a man speaks is a confession. Every reaction is a map to his weaknesses. Silence forces the world to reveal itself to you. It unsettles the arrogant. It disarms the manipulator. It makes the weak man nervous and the strong man curious. When you stop explaining yourself, people stop testing you. When you stop defending yourself, accusations lose their weight. When you stop reacting, you become impossible to control. The loudest man in the room is almost always the most afraid. He speaks to fill the silence, because silence shows him who he truly is. But you are learning to sit inside that silence without flinching. You are learning to let it sharpen you. And soon, when you finally do speak, your words will land like verdicts. Because the king does not shout, the king decides. The mask of the wise. Every man wears a mask. The fool believes his is real. The wise man knows his is a weapon. This is the first law of dark psychology, and it will save your life if you let it. People do not want the real you. They want a version of you they can predict, control, and use. So give them a mask. Not to deceive, but to survive. Machiavelli understood that a prince must appear merciful, loyal, and honest, but must be ready to act otherwise when necessity demands. This is not evil. This is architecture. You are building the face the world needs to see while protecting the man underneath. Learn to read before you are read. When a man meets you, he is already scanning for weakness. His eyes study your posture. His ears hunt for insecurity in your voice. His questions are probes, not conversations. Most men fail this test in the first 30 seconds. They overshare. They laugh too loud. They explain themselves without being asked. You will not. You will watch. You will listen. You will say less than expected and observe more than anyone notices. Pay attention to what people do when they think no one is watching. Pay attention to how they treat those who cannot help them. Pay attention to the small lies, the nervous laughter, the compliments that arrive too quickly. These are the tells. These are the cracks. Every person reveals their true nature within minutes if you know how to look. And the moment you see them clearly, something shifts. You stop being the one who can be played. You become the one who decides the game. The mask is not dishonesty. It is discipline. It is the quiet understanding that not everyone deserves access to the man behind your eyes. Cutting the weak ties. Look around you. Truly look. The people in your life are either lifting you, draining you, or silently waiting for you to fail. There is no fourth category. This is the hardest truth a man ever faces, and it is the one that separates the boys from the builders. Most men are trapped not by enemies, but by familiar faces. The friend who mocks your ambition as a joke. The family member who reminds you of your old self every time you rise. The woman who loves you most when you are small and resents you when you grow. These ties feel like love, but they are chains wrapped in nostalgia. Machiavelli warned that a man surrounded by those who envy him is already defeated, because betrayal does not come from strangers. It comes from the table you eat at. Loyalty is not proven in celebration. It is proven in silence, in distance, in the moments when your name is spoken in rooms you are not in. Most of the people you call loyal would not pass that test. And deep down, you already know who they are. You feel the subtle heaviness after their calls. You notice how your energy dims in their presence. You hear the quiet sarcasm buried in their compliments. Stop lying to yourself. Cutting weak ties is not cruelty. It is survival. You are not obligated to bleed for people who would not bandage you. You are not required to shrink so that weaker men feel comfortable standing beside you. Some people must be loved from a distance, and some must be released entirely, without apology, without explanation, without a farewell tour. The moment you stop fearing loneliness is the moment you stop tolerating disrespect. And a man who walks alone with purpose is more powerful than a man surrounded by applause. The cold architecture of discipline. Motivation is a liar. It shows up loud and leaves quiet. And men who depend on it spend their lives waiting for a feeling that never returns. Discipline is different. Discipline is cold. Discipline is architecture. It does not ask how you feel, it asks what you committed to. And it holds you to that commitment, whether the sky is burning or the bed is warm. This is the quiet separator between the man who rises and the man who dreams out loud at bars. Machiavelli understood that fortune favors the prepared, and that a prince without inner order will lose his kingdom the moment chaos arrives. Your body is your kingdom. Your mind is your kingdom. Your time is your kingdom. And most men have handed these territories to their impulses, their phones, their cravings, their moods. You will not. You will build walls. You will set laws. You will become a ruler inside your own skin. Wake before the world wakes. Train when your body begs for rest. Read when your mind begs for entertainment. Eat like a man who understands that every meal is either building him or burying him. Say no to pleasures that rob you of future power. Say yes to pain that sharpens you. This is not punishment. This is construction. Every disciplined act is a brick, and brick by brick, you are building a man that no storm can collapse. The world will test this structure. Temptation will whisper. Old habits will beg for one more night. Weak voices around you will call your discipline extreme. Ignore them all. They are measuring you with the ruler of their own surrender. You are not building a life they can understand. You are building a life they will one day study. And that life begins with the discipline they refuse to endure. Power over emotion. A man who cannot govern his emotions will be governed by men who can. Remember that. Tattoo it on the inside of your mind. Every room you walk into contains people reading your face, your breath, your posture, waiting to see what moves you. Anger, excitement, jealousy, fear, desire. These are the handles by which weak men are carried. The moment your emotions show, your strategy dies. Machiavelli wrote that a wise prince must learn how not to be good, meaning he must learn to act against his feelings when the moment demands it. This is not about becoming heartless. This is about becoming sovereign. Your emotions are information, not instructions. Feel them fully in private. Study them like a scientist, but never let them dictate your face in public. When a man insults you, do not flinch. Silence is heavier than any comeback. When a woman tests you, do not chase. Stillness is more seductive than any pursuit. When life strikes you, do not collapse. Composure is the oldest language of power. The average man lives as a slave to his reactions. His day is dictated by whoever angers him, whoever flatters him, whoever rejects him. He is weather. You must become climate. Steady, predictable only to yourself, unmoved by the storms that destroy lesser men. Learn the art of the pause. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and inside that space lives every freedom you have ever wanted. Master that space, and you master your life. People will notice. They will feel the shift. They will stop testing a man whose face does not break, whose voice does not rise, whose eyes do not betray him. And in that quiet, unshakable control, you will discover something most men die without ever touching: sovereignty over the self. The art of being unreadable. The moment people can predict you, they can play you. This is the brutal mathematics of human nature, and most men never solve the equation. They broadcast their moves before they make them. They announce their goals at dinner tables. They post their pain online. They explain their next step to anyone willing to nod. And then they wonder why the world always seems to move faster than them. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must be a great pretender and dissembler, because men are so simple that they will always be deceived by appearances. This is not a lesson in dishonesty. This is a lesson in armor. Become a closed book with a striking cover. Let people see enough to be curious, never enough to be certain. When they ask your plans, smile and say little. When they ask your pain, redirect and reveal nothing. When they celebrate your wins before they are sealed, nod and keep building in silence. An unreadable man is an uncontrollable man. He cannot be manipulated because his motives are invisible. He cannot be sabotaged because his next move is unknown. He cannot be flattered into weakness because his ego gives no surface to press against. People will lean in. They will study you. They will invent theories about who you are, and every theory will be wrong, and that is exactly the point. The mystery itself becomes your gravity. Women will feel it. Competitors will fear it. Allies will respect it. Enemies will hesitate before striking, because a man they cannot read is a man they cannot defeat. Speak less about yourself. Reveal only what serves the mission. Let your actions do the announcing. And slowly, deliberately, you will become the one presence in every room that no one can fully decode, and therefore no one can fully touch. The man who found himself. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of this transformation. He does not flinch. He does not beg. He does not explain himself to people who were never going to understand him anyway. He walks slower because he has nowhere to prove he belongs. He speaks less because his presence has already said enough. His eyes carry something the average man will never possess. A quiet, settled knowing, the look of a man who has met himself in the dark and did not look away. This is the man you are becoming. Not the loud man, not the performative man, not the man chasing validation in rooms that will forget his name by morning. You are becoming the man who found himself, and that discovery is the rarest wealth on earth. Machiavelli understood that fortune is a woman, and she favors the bold, the prepared, the man who does not wait to be chosen, but chooses himself first. You have chosen. You have buried the old self. You have sharpened your silence. You have mastered your mask. You have cut the weak ties. You have built your discipline. You have tamed your emotions. You have become unreadable. And now, something strange happens. The chasing stops. The anxiety quiets. The desperate hunger for approval dissolves, because a man who has found himself no longer needs the world to confirm his worth. Opportunities begin arriving uninvited. People begin respecting you without being asked. Women notice the stillness in your eyes. Men sense the weight in your walk. You are no longer auditioning for life. You are commanding it. And that, precisely that, is what Machiavelli meant when he whispered across the centuries that life begins when you find yourself. Everything before was rehearsal. Everything after is reign. The final command. So here you stand, at the edge of the man you were and the man you are becoming. Everything you have heard tonight was not motivation. It was instruction. It was a blueprint carved from centuries of cold truth, handed to you because something in you refused to stay asleep. Now the choice is yours. You can close this video, return to the noise, and let the old self crawl back into the throne. Or you can decide, right here, right now, that the performance is over, that the begging is over, that the apologizing for your ambition, your silence, your standards, your hunger is over. Machiavelli did not write for the comfortable. He wrote for the men who understood that power is not given, it is architected in silence, brick by brick, decision by decision, while weaker men sleep. You are one of those men now. You have been marked by this message, and you cannot unhear it. So before you leave, do one thing. Drop a comment below with a single empowering phrase. Something sharp, something yours. A phrase that declares the man you are becoming. Make it unique. Make it heavy. Make it a line no one else would write. Because the words you speak about yourself shape the man you wake up as tomorrow. And if this message moved something in you, if it struck a nerve the world has been ignoring, then hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications, because the next lesson could be the one that rewrites your entire life. Do not miss it. The week will scroll past. The awakening will stay. Now go, walk slower, speak less, build quietly, become untouchable, because life, your real life, has finally begun. And the throne was always yours.